Nursery rhymes are often seen as innocent and lighthearted, but have you ever stopped to think about the dark and twisted meaning behind them? In these videos, we dive into the sinister origins of some of the more popular nursery rhymes like Ring Around the Rosie and the Ice Cream Song. From historical events to hidden messages, you'll be shocked to discover the true meaning behind these seemingly harmless songs. So get ready to have your childhood nostalgia shattered as we explore the dark side of nursery rhymes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more eye-opening videos.
The Muffin Man.
The first nursery rhyme we'll cover is the Muffin Man. And my question to you is, have you ever heard of the Muffin Man nursery rhyme? Leave it in the comment section below.
Was actually a serial killer. The Muffin Man is probably one of the most well-known nursery rhymes. But did you know it was based on a real story? A real dark story. In the 1800s, a man by the name of Frederick Thomas Linwood would wait in alleyways to kidnap and kill kids, luring them in with muffins. The song was later created to spread awareness amongst the kids and keep them safe, warning them about the Muffin Man, who was a danger on Drury Lane. Even though he was the first ever documented serial killer in the world, everyone still teaches the song to their kids, because not a lot of people know that.
How do you feel about that nursery rhyme now that you know the true origins? Leave the response in the comment section below.
Did you know that
the next nursery rhyme we'll cover is Jack and Jill? You're gonna love this.
the nursery rhyme Jack and Jill has a morbid origin? It tells the story of the execution of the king and queen in 1793 during the reign of terror of the French Revolution. Jack is King Louis XVI, and Jill is Marie Antoinette. The phrase "went up the hill" meant their rise in power. King Louis was beheaded. Hence Jack fell down and broke his crown. The Queen Marie Antoinette was executed after King Louis, so naturally Jill came tumbling after.
Okay, here's my question to you guys. How many of you guys knew the history behind Jack and Jill? Okay, we got some more coming. The next video, we'll be talking about Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary.
Here's some of the darkest nursery rhyme origin stories. Part 2. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. In this nursery rhyme, Mary refers to Mary Tudor, who was the Queen of England from July of 1553 until her death. Her protesters refer to her as Bloody Mary because she would execute anyone who tried to protest her. The garden in this nursery rhyme refers to her ever-growing graveyard of protesters. The silver bells were actually thumb screws that she would use to crush her victims' thumbs between a hard surface, screwing the screws tighter and tighter until there was nothing left. The cockle shells were a torture device attached to the genitalia, and the pretty maids were actually guillotines that were also known as maidens, which were later shortened to maids, and Mary used them to execute her victims one by one.
Now I see why they call her Bloody Mary. The next video we're going to be looking at is Baa Black Sheep.
The dark side of nursery rhymes. We start with a familiar one, a classic childhood staple.
Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool?
The controversy surrounding this nursery rhyme began in the late 80s and 90s when it was connected to slavery in the American South. Proponents of this view argue the following. The black sheep is a reference to the African descent of American slaves. The 3 bags full of wool reflects the cotton that slaves were forced to collect in large bags, and the master-sheep relationship is reminiscent of master-slave language. Many experts believe that the song actually has nothing to do with slavery, nor even America. Instead, the song is believed to have originated in Britain. The first written record of this song is from an English nursery rhyme book called Tom Thumb's Pretty Songbook. It was written in 1744 and is the oldest surviving collection of English nursery rhymes out there.
How do you guys feel about these videos so far? Have you heard of some of the things, some of the dark, twisted meanings behind some of them? We got some more. Let's roll.
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Ring around the rosy. The bubonic plague, or the Black Plague, would produce lumps on the affected people with a distinctive red ring around the so-called rosy polyp. A pocket full of posies. Plague doctors, you know, the ones with the creepy-looking beak masks, were known to shower a diseased person with sweet-smelling flowers, posies, thinking that they would ward away the disease. Ashes, ashes. When someone died from the plague, their bodies are cremated and turned to, you guessed it, ashes. Which brings us finally to We All Fall Down. With over 50 million people dead from the Black Death, 1/3 of Europe's population did, in fact, fall down.
Okay, now we're going to get a little more deep in some of these nursery rhymes. It becomes more and more twisted. Let's check out the rest.
He's jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said,
No more monkeys jumping on the bed.
10 little nigger boys going out to dine. One overate himself.
And then there were 9. 9 little nigger boys sat up very late. One overslept himself. And then there were 8.
Yes, you heard what you heard. These songs do have a dark undertone.
One little, 2 little, 3 little engines. 4 little, 5 little, 6 little engines. Uh-oh, sorry, that one was a half-breed.
Half-breed? Half-breed? Come on, y'all. Tell me y'all don't see this.
7 little, 8 little, 9 little engines. 10 little engine boys.
1 widow, 2 widow, 3 widow Indians. 4 widow, 5 widow, 6 widow Indians. 7 widow, 8 widow, 9 widow Indians. 10 little Indian boys.
Did you know the ice cream song we loved as a kid actually has an incredibly racist backstory? If you had a childhood worth remembering, then you know this sound. Well, that tune was based on an actual song. It was Turkey in the Straw by Horace Waters, made in 1857. Just to be clear, there was nothing wrong with this song. There was everything wrong with the song that came next. Because in 1916, someone decided to do a remake with the same tune. A remake that was so offensive that just saying the title would get me in trouble. Basically, the title was People in Paris Love a Watermelon. Fill in the dots, you know what I mean. Not only was the song made, it was played in minstrel shows while white actors would perform in blackface. It was so infamous that even though it was made over 100 years ago, if you Google most racist song in American history, the Watermelon song pops up. To be fair, it was made back when Tom and Jerry could pull this and not get canned for it. Matter of fact, they had a whole mammy on that show. The world was just on different timing. And even though the original song was perfectly fine, the remake was so Jim Crow that a lot of ice cream trucks stopped using the tune altogether. You ever have a little sibling that screws up so badly you somehow get in trouble for it? That's tough.
Did you notice some of the childhood songs we learned in school were actually quite awful when you really dig into the history of these songs? Yeah, I know, we're here to ruin your childhood, but hey, my childhood was ruined, and I guess I can ruin yours too, right? Anyway, let's begin with some of these songs. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a hen by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So what did it mean? It meant that it came from a selection of an individual, and it would describe what the owner would do if they actually caught a runaway. It was actually a part of a 2004 lawsuit against SW Airlines. The plaintiffs in that case sued the airline for discrimination because a flight attendant had used the rhyme while urging them to take their seats. Now, the jury did not side with the plaintiffs, and though they appealed, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the initial ruling. Of course, in my background, here's another song. But here's one called "Old Susanna." The original lyrics: "It rained all night, the day I left. The weather, it was dry. The sun so hot, I froze to death." Meaning the protagonist of the song is African American S, who is portrayed as not smart. In the song, the singer can't grasp the idea of temperature and geography. And then there's another song down below. Here's one we've all heard. 10 Little Monkeys. You go backwards. It's a counting song. I think we've all played that little song. 10, 9, 8, 7. It was originally derived from a nursery rhyme called 10 Little Ends, which counted down by illuminating 10 different horrible ways for black boys to D. One version of it features this line: 10 little end boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. The use of this rhyming song in children's songs and in minstrel shows over many decades reasserted a false sense of superiority in Southern W's, still burning because they lost the CW. And again, here's another one. Please freeze the screen, so you can see this one as well. Asian people, I'm not going to leave y'all out of this one. America had its history with you guys too. Follow me for more.
Another one I came across. How many of y'all ever heard of Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear? Well, Fuzzy Wuzzy was based on real people. And for those who never heard of the ice cream song / watermelon song, I was able to find a clip for you. Okay, now that we viewed, we watched, we dissect, we digested these videos that we've seen, I want to know, how do you honestly feel about what you've learned? How do you feel about the songs we sung as a kid? Leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Feel free to donate. Any donation goes directly towards the growth of the channel. Thank you.